fantasy species, races, groups. That is what we're going to be talking about today, okay? Understand this. Last week I made a video going over the idea of space prejudice, okay? And whether the humanity would suffer from it. Would we look at like the latest ET that came down from outer space and would we hit him from prejudice of our days of old? Would it unite humanity, or would we just like come up with another reason not to like somebody that looks different than us? And I said in that one, if that one did well, I would do a fantasy version of that. I would go over the prospect of a fantasy prejudice, okay, against other groups. And, yeah, that video exceeded literally all expectations. So, yep, I'm going to be doing another one of these. And we are going to be going over fantasy races, okay? I'm going to be going over the idea of how much fantasy racism would these groups get if they were to exist, okay? Going over everybody. From dwarves, to elves, to goblins, to tieflings, to minotaurs. And I am going to be ranking them on how much prejudice they would get from humanity, okay? That is going to be the video with some memes along the way. If you enjoy this, consider a like, comment, and subscribe. We are trying to get to 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year. But I'm going to be honest with you, bro. It's not looking too good. It's not. I'm just going to keep it blunt with you. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do pretty good. But it's looking like 300,000 at the end of January. That's what it's looking like. But it is what it is, brother. Okay, last year we failed to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. Look where we are now. We will get 500,000 before the release of GTA 6. Hit the bell icon to stay notified, and let's get into the video. Let's go. Dwarves. I don't care what any of y'all say, bro. Dwarves would be the number one homies. Why? Listen, man. Is it really that different from humanity? Like on a real note, bro, like when we're going over fantasy races, the more different they are, the more likely that I think they're gonna get hit with good old-fashioned human supremacy. Okay, that's gonna be the case here, okay? When I look at dwarves low-key are just the boys. Like anyone else think that? Like, dwarves low-key be living the dream life of every single 25-year-old dude that's into woodworking. Am I wrong, bro? Like, every single time I see a dwarf in a fantasy setting, I go, hell yeah! Bro, if there's like a boring movie where I'm like, oh yeah, we have the Elves of Celebrimbor, we have the Orcs, we have the Realm of Man, and then we got the dwarves, bro. Every time I see a dwarf come up, I'm like, hell yeah! Anyone else think that? Like, you're watching Lord of the Rings, you're watching D&D, you see a dwarf come up, you're like, hell yeah! Now, depending on, like, the universe that we're talking about, like, D&D, like, there are, like, women dwarves, okay? And they low-key just, like, little stock women, okay? And here's the truth, bro. I hate to be that guy, but a large portion of what's going to, like, there's multiple factors that are going to determine prejudice from humanity. And one of those is breedability. I'm just going to be honest with you, bro. Breedability of these other groups is going to be a factor here, bro. And you cannot convince me that there is not a literal army of dude that's waiting to get on like a stock little dwarf woman, bro. You can't convince me that that's not the case, bro. I see the way that you look at some of these women that are like 5'2", and you're like a little bit shorter. Me personally, bro, anything below a 5'3", I start getting a little bit icked out, bro. I got 6'1.5" genetics. I can't be diluting that with the halflings, bro. I can't be doing that, bro. And so that's how I view it. Bro, I just called all women under the height of 5'3" halflings, bro. I'm gonna hold on to that. Bro, dwarves will be homies. I don't care what any of y'all say, but this is the point, bro. We would be throwing shots at each other. You mean there's absolutely no way dwarves don't have like a whole assortment of things that they can call tall people, bro? Like, yo, my slur guy in the comment section, give me what would be the nicknames for normal-sized people from the dwarf kind. Bro, I want to know this. Dwarves are 100% going in one of us. No question. They're invited to every gathering, every cookout, every hunt session, everything, bro. And that's another thing. Dwarves low-key are definitely going to be the blue-collar workers of society. Brother, every single CWI, every single woodworker is going to be a dwarf, bro. You see the local carpenter that's building the new subdivision? Brother, it's all dwarves. I'm putting it in one of us, no question. Bird people. Yeah, we're going straight to the deep end. Understand this, bro. Man-human amalgamations, I'm not going to lie to you, are not going to be treated well. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. They are getting rounded up and put in zoos. There's absolutely no way. I'm sorry to tell you this. it's just not gonna go well, bro. There's gonna be some furries, but here's another thing, bro. I've been told by the furry council, because of all the videos that I say kind of going at furries and giving them respect where respect is due, because they got the cardio of the animal that they're trying to cosplay. They will come in and correct me on certain things. Like, brother, apparently, like, human-animal amalgamations, they're icked out by that. And I'm over here like, is that not the whole point? It's like, no, they have to be cartoony. And I'm like, whoa. You're telling me there's a separate faction of furries that are like, I like them realistic? Yes. Ha! Brother, I'm sorry. The furry fandom low-key kind of questioning my faith in the freedom of speech. However, bro, bird people are cooked! And probably, like, literally gonna be cooked. You mean to tell me, brother, all of these, like, hillbilly hunters over here, okay, aren't gonna, like, see a bird person swoop down, and they're gonna be like, oh, damn it. Ah! And then he's over here, it's like, what are you doing? It's like, my name's Derek. Help me. Cook him. No! Bro, I want some beer-battered crow person right now. Gah! Gah! Brother, bird people are getting turned into pets or are getting cooked. I'm just gonna put them in cooked. They ain't getting domesticated. People don't like birds like that. They're getting cooked. Literally cooked. Orcs! You want me to tell you something, bro? The most realistic, and it's such a bad movie. The most realistic depiction of how I think orcs would be treated in modern society is the Will Smith movie on Netflix called Bright. And for anyone who hasn't seen this absolute dumpster fire of a movie, the premise is actually pretty good. It's, imagine a fantasy world set in a modern setting, and all of these fantasy races are all coexisting with humanity, but they also have the history of, like, Lord of the Rings. So, like, they'll reference, like, the Battle of Hell's Keep, and they'll be like, yeah, this happened, the Dark Lords rose and fell, and then the orcs are over here, and it's like, the Dark Lord was a high elf! Does nobody remember that? But then the orcs get a lot of the trouble. And then I get reminded, with after the Lord of the Rings, bro, Aragorn and his kingdom literally eradicated all of the orc clans, like literally spent the rest of his days eradicating orcs. And I always thought a cool sequel would be if, like, the orcs kind of building a society without the Dark Lord as their central figure. What would that look like, bro? And I feel like orcs low-key get, like, this stigma that they are just a warmongering society. Like, and here's the truth. Somebody's gonna say, oh, well, they are. Brother, could you imagine if there was, like, an orc clan that was just vegan? Like, they don't like eating meat. Like, they low-key are, like, kumbaya, bro. Like, they don't really want to do anything. Like, you guys wouldn't like that. Like, orcs have to build into the stigma that you created. Otherwise, they're lame. And here's the truth, dude. I can't sit here and lie to you that there wouldn't be a little prejudice. As much as I would love to say, okay, that, like, humanity would, like, overcome and, like, treat orcs with respect no matter the past, brother, there's still Americans in Texas that bring up the Alamo. Bro, are you being so dead ass? Like, no, bro. Okay, like, over here, we 100%, brother. If we went through the Battle of the Ring, we would never let any orc forget about it, bro. We would be like, scoreboard! Every single time, bro. I know how, I know what we're like. And if it's a collective humanity like that to orcs, bro, it's gonna be a little prejudice. Why am I not putting it in cooked? Brother, bird people are getting eradicated in, like, 2 weeks tops. I'm sorry. Orcs, low-key, I would have an orc in my friend group. Not even a remote question. But there would be a little prejudice. He would call me man-filth. I'd call him Shrek. So I'm going to put it in a little prejudice. He's like, that's an ogre! Same thing! Like, that would be... Bro, I ain't gonna lie, dude. I need an Xbox lobby of an orc, a dwarf, and a hobbit. Dude, I need that. Okay, a little prejudice. I'm going to put them up there. Elves. Now, this one I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I never liked elves. Any type of rendition of elves I have a problem with. No. I'm just going to keep it $1.50 with you, bro. Oh, well, what about elves in Lord of the Rings? Brother, I didn't like how they looked down on everybody. That bothered me, bro. I looked at elves the same way that I look at people that lived in gated communities and complained about their drive to work. Like, bro, shut up. Like, actually, dog, shut up. You live in a gated community, dog, okay? Listen, be quiet. Honestly, bro. And then you got the elves that are like the little people elves. Like, you're talking about, like, Christmas. And I know, like, I'm, like, partly joking. But, like, even them, I'm like, I low-key don't respect you, man. You let an overweight, obese man tell you what to do? What are we talking about, bro? But when we're looking at high elves, bro, maybe it's my hatred of the Thalmor that low-key kind of brings me to a point. Somebody requested that I, like, explain, like, my Elder Scrolls politics in the same way that I explained Elden Ring. Brother, I ain't gonna lie, most of that's just gonna turn into an unhinged rant how I think that every single Thalmor in Skyrim should literally be sent back from the lands that whence they came. Because it's one thing coming to Skyrim, like that's one thing. I think the Stormcloaks are kind of weird by like Skyrim is for the Nords and Nords alone. I think they're kind of weird about that. However, at the same time, brother, the Thalmor are coming in and straight up talking about how eradicating the Talos religion. That they're openly talking about eradicating a full religion when they come here. The Thalmor have to go, bro. I'm sorry. Brother, I ain't gonna lie. From me alone, brother, I dislike the Elves more than I dislike the Orcs. The Orcs are getting, brother, I ain't get like, no, in my best of worlds, bro, they're cooked. They're cooked, bro. Okay, the universe is gonna send me an elf woman that's like 5'10", 5'11" to preserve the height genetics. And she's gonna put her hand on here being like, we're not all bad, are we? And then I'm gonna grab her by her wrist. I'm gonna be like, I can't sully the genetics. Go back from the lands that whence you came. Okay, like that's what's gonna happen, bro. I'm sorry. A little cooked. I've seen too many elves just have this attitude that I'm like, ew. Stop that. I hate that looking down attitude, bro. I'm sorry. Cooked. Goliaths from D&D. So these are like descendant from ogres and giants, and they're kind of like big, strong, like muscle dudes. I'm gonna be real here, dog. When I look at the Goliaths from D&D, do you know what they give off? You guys ever have a Samoan friend? Brother, let me tell you a story, dude. Let me tell you a story. So I was training jiu-jitsu, and, I'm having a good time. I'm smoking a few dudes. Darce, armbar, kimura, double leg. Like, I'm putting on a show. And then the 6'3", 250 pounds of muscle coated and a little bit of the comfort pounds. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sorry, bro. He comes in, and this is a Samoan man, okay? And when I tell you this man put the paws on me, absolutely beat me like I was nothing. And I remember afterwards, okay, this man put his hand on my shoulder and literally palmed it like a 5-year-old, okay? And I was like, huh? And it's like, you know you got that dog in you, right? You don't quit. I respect that. And I'm like, ah! The giant man complimented me. That's how I felt. And bro, that's low-key how I felt. Like he this is a lot of jiu-jitsu people also play D&D. I do need to remind you of that too. And low-key, bro, we used to call him Goliath. Because in his D&D campaign, that's what he played. And we were all like, bro, that's so fitting. Like, you look like you're descendant from a giant person, bro. I respect it. So whenever I look at Goliaths, I'm not going to lie, bro, I always kind of think of that. And let me tell you something, bro. They in the homies, dude. A Goliath 100%. If they're anything like a Samoan person, 100% one of us, bro. Add him to the Xbox Live lobby, 100%, no question, gotta put him there. No question, bro. Mermaids, or aquatic people in general. Brother, they're done. They're cooked. They're done. They're getting mollywopped. Brother, and I don't even blame them, bro. Like, mermaids or aquatic people have literally every reason to dislike us. But here's the truth, dog. Don't start a battle when we're on the high ground, dog. That's how it would be, dude. We would absolutely decimate the mermaids, bro. Okay? And we would get rid of the aquatic people. I'm sorry to tell you that, bro. When I'm seeing like aquatic people like in fiction, I'm always like, bro, humanity, every other fantasy group would not like them at all. They would be deleted very, very quickly. To the point that, like, I'm gonna be real with you, dog. Best case scenario, they become pets. I'm just gonna be real here, dog. That's when I'm always like, ooh, aquatic people. Brother, I'm so glad we're not in the 21st century, dude. I already know the things that would occur if you guys were around, bro. Pets at best case scenario. I'm putting it right there. Hobbits, gnomes, halflings, all of them. I'm gonna be real here, dog. I used to, nah, bro, they'd be chill. They'd be chill. Like, no, I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. Like, they would 100% if they were like coexisting with like human children. Like, if they had to go to the same schools that like human kids went with, the bullying that they would receive would be absolutely astronomical. But low key, bro, I was watching some TLC, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they'll do just fine. They'll do just fine, bro. And they have like the most comfortable homes. That's another thing, bro. Like, they live in like these little hobbit homes. And I love that Lord of the Rings did it, and then like D&D also does it because it's like, bro, it looks so comfortable, dude. You gotta do it. And like, no, like they low-key seem like that cool dude that you can party with too. Like, low-key, man, a dwarf, a Goliath, an orc, no elves, and a hobbit. But here's the truth, Doug. I think anyone else think that like hobbits would also have like a little bit of beef towards us that they kind of keep to themselves, they greedy. Like, that's another thing, bro, okay? Like, when I was watching The Hobbit and I saw Bilbo, a single man, have that much food in his little hobbit home, I knew that this dude would absolutely hate all of us big people over here, bro. There would be some beef and it would come from the hobbits and nobody would expect it. I'm putting it right there, bro. Goblins! They are getting turned into living Furbies very, very, very quickly, bro. I'm sorry. When I see a goblins are either absolutely getting eradicated by humanity, like, immediately, or they're getting turned into pets. And here's the worst part. I understand that they are of the same stature as, like, as a hobbit in terms of size. They just kind of ugly looking, and humanity does not like things that don't look cute. I'm sorry to tell you this, bro. Look at the type of animals that get sympathy and don't. Humanity will give sympathy to, like, mammals, dogs, cute things, and then absolutely have zero sympathy for, like, fish and insects. Brother, goblins are getting eradicated so fast. And I would feel bad about it, bro. Like, we would make up some lies that they aren't, like, a civilized society and, like, argue that they're animals. That's how bad it would get, bro. Pets. I'm sorry. Khajiits. Cat people in general. I'm gonna be real here, dog, okay? Maybe it's because I'm biased, because me and Jazargo were absolute homeboys, okay? Like, he was my roommate at the College of Winterhold. He was my favorite companion in Skyrim. And I low-key would, like, run the fades of every single person that would say, once I entered in the Widhelm, put that thing on a leash! I would be running his fade, bro. I'm sorry. Like, me and Jazargo were thick as thieves. But I'm gonna be real here, dog. I can't lie. Humanity would be saying some things about the cat people. I'm just saying. And I don't think we would get along. I don't. If you wonder how I think humanity would treat, like Khajiits, look at how the average person from the UK treats a gypsy person. That's how I think it would happen humanity-wide. Like, on paper, we would be cool, but then the moment you question somebody further, they'd be like, yeah, I don't know how to feel about him, bro. I don't know how to feel about him. Not me, though, bro. Me and Jazargo, thick as thieves. #1 homies. But in terms of all of humanity, they're kind of cooked. But it would be a little bit prejudiced. No. It wouldn't be cooked. There would be a little prejudice, though. I'm not going to lie, but I am going to put it in a little prejudice. I think it would be the same level as, like, orc prejudice, bro. Lizard folk. Argonians, Dragonborn from D&D, all of those. Lizard people are getting done so dirty, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like, lizard people are going to be treated so bad. And this is what it comes down to, bro. Like, Khajiit people, cat people would be treated good because a lot of people like cats and they're kind of like a mammal, okay? Bird people would be treated bad because they're birds. Not a lot of people have sympathy for birds. Brother, times that by 10, that's how people treat lizards and snakes. Argonians are getting done so dirty. If they were around. I forget what it was, bro. Like, there was a mod where, like, a dude who used to enslave Argonians could be your be your companion. And I'm not gonna lie to you, dog, that would be the average conversation on Argonians. And I don't know why, bro. I feel like Argonians would low-key take over all of Florida. And then humanity wouldn't like that, and then we would push back the Argonians. Or to, like, Louisiana. Like, anyone else think Theo Von low-key might be an Argonian? Like, anyone else think that? Like, when I think, like that's what I'm thinking. Like, that to me, those are kind of close. But Argonians would be treated so bad by modern society. They're cooked, or they're in, like, pets or, like, products territory. I could see a scenario where Argonians get turned into products, and y'all aren't ready to have that conversation. They're going right there, no question. Mankind! Part of the reason that I make these videos is that I have a theory that if you wanted to eradicate all racial prejudice within the human race, all you would have to do is introduce aliens, or, in this case scenario, fantasy races. Because humanity is so particular about differences that it's so easy to divide and conquer us that we look at differences in literally the most mundane things, bro. If it wasn't like skin color, it would be eye color. If it wouldn't be eye color, brother, people would 100% do it with hair, and then we would go on until everybody looked exactly the same. Brother, humanity, this might be the most united humanity would ever be if there was like other fantasy groups around. And I'm going to be real here, dog. Like, here's the trade-off. We would treat goblins, Argonians, and bird people very badly. Humanity would be thick as thieves, though. We're going in one of us because it is us. I'm going to put it right there. No question. Insectoids. Take literally everything that I said about goblins, Argonians, and mermaids, times that by 100. Insectoids are getting absolutely demolished. And, like, bro, it would be so fast, dude. And humanity would unite so quickly. Like, this is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. There is a spectrum of how much sympathy people have for, like, other forms of life. Like human to human, there's a lot of sympathy. Human to dog, good sympathy. Human to cat, good sympathy. And then when you start crossing in the hamster and guinea pig, things start going far. And then we keep on going farther. Bird, fists. And in the absolute depths of hell, in terms of how little people care, is bugs. Brother, I'll see a chick that is like, I don't want to eat meat, I'm a vegan because I do. Like, brother, I remember driving this chick home one time, bro. Okay? And keep in mind, she was like, how do I say this? She wasn't a vegan, but she was like mindful. Does that make sense? Okay. We're driving home. We're going through like some of the back roads, and there was a few, I think it was like some raccoons that ran in front of the car, okay? I was able to not hit them. They went underneath the car. And then it was a family of raccoons. And she immediately looks in the rearview mirror, and one of the baby raccoons got absolutely domed by the car behind us. There's just no other way to say that. And when I tell you, she had one of the craziest breakdowns I've ever seen. And I was like, you good? Like, I was like, do you want me to pull over? It's like, turn around! I have to see you. And I'm like, keep in mind, it's the back roads at like 11:30 at night. Okay? Like, when we're going, and there's like a lake over there, and I'm looking over like, yo, are you good? And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, yo, they're probably okay. And she was like, open hand, hit my shoulder, I'm driving, but I'm doing it with one hand like a dad, okay? He's like, how do you know that? And I'm like, okay. And it wasn't until like 30 minutes into the drive, she was like, I'm sorry. I think I overreacted. And I'm like, you think? They're fine. Like that. The whole reason I'm telling you this story is that level of sympathy would not be given to insectoids, dog. Insectoids are getting yeeted into the wood chipper, bro. Pets or products, bro. No question right there. Minotaurs. Now, this is also going into, like, man, like, this is what it is. There's human-animal hybrid, and then there's human-animal, like, amalgamation, where they just, this also applies to centaurs. So, like, minotaurs, centaurs, you can even put mermaids in here if you really wanted to. But the point that I'm trying to make here is these are ones that obviously are a little bit more animal than human, and it's like a perfect 50-50 split. Brother, I'm sorry. These are not making the cut. Like, if we just got, like, if you let, like, humanity literally do, like a swipe right for wanting, for a swipe left for not wanting, Minotaurs are getting that left slip, or left slide. Brother, as bad as it is, bro, centaurs are more likely to get accepted by humanity than Minotaurs. And it's low-key, bro. There's a lot of very, very lonely and confused women that'll take a man with the lower half of a horse. I'm sorry to tell you this, bro, but there's some book talkers that are very confused. But not really. They seem to know what they want, but they don't know the consequences of what they want. That's all I gotta say, bro. But Minotaurs, like, I could be homies with a Minotaur. But humanity, brother, they're cooking them. I'm sorry. They're going to cook the Minotaurs, bro. That's just what's going to happen. They're not becoming pets, bro. They're getting cooked. Tieflings. Yes! Yes! Bro, Tieflings are 100%. Okay? They are getting bred out of existence, dude. I mean to tell you, dude, you think the white man to Latina epidemic is crazy now? Like how every white dude, it's a canon event that they get with one Latin woman. Every single man is going to attempt to get with a tiefling woman so fast. Dude, it would be instantaneous. It would be so quick. It would immediately be like, hey, oh, I will fold for nobody. Bro, a tiefling baddie comes up. Hey, how you doing? Oh my goodness, you're so funny. Hi. Bro, y'all are folding so quick. You wanna know how I know? I would fold. I would fold, bro. I would. Bro, I'm sorry. And this also applies to, like, girls, too. Like, the amount of, like if you go on, like, D&D Rule 34, a lot of y'all are simping for a tiefling man, like, hilariously hard, okay? But, like, they seem to want a purple tiefling. We're over here, like, make her red! Make her red, okay? Make her 6'5", 200 pounds, built like a Mac house truck, and, give her an Australian accent. That's all I need. Okay, give me a Carlac and my life is yours, bro. One of us. And that's just gonna happen. It is just gonna happen, bro. Your girl, bro, to all the people out here that don't understand this, your girl will be taken from you by a tiefling man. And ladies, your man will be stolen from you by a tiefling baddie. I'm sorry, that's just how it is, bro. Everybody's having horns within the next generation. I'm sorry to tell you this, bro. One of us. And there you go. That is the fantasy race tier list. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We are trying to get to 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And if we do not hit it, we will get 500,000 subscribers before the release of GTA 6. That is the goal. And with all that being said, thank you for all the support that you give this channel. It's absolutely insane to see this happen. We started the year with 74,000 subscribers. We are now at 276,000 subscribers. Thank you, everybody, for your support, and we got more videos coming out every single day. Thank you, everybody. It means the most, and I will see you all in the next video. Adios, guys.